Here's an awesome thing about a Circle K experience. I went in Circle K and the girl was like, "How you doing?" And I hopped over and I said, "I am doing super. How are you?" And she's like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, "You know, it's sort of weird." And I was like, I had all this money in my hand and I was like, "You know, I know." And I was like, "Look at all this money." I was like, "I almost set $100 on the counter and left it here." And she's like, "Oh, that would have sucked." And I was like, "Not really." I was like, "I know how to make it reappear." She's like, "That would be cool." I was like, "Yeah, I'm learning that power." And I slipped again. Because I'm just like talking to people very openly. And she's like, "What?" And then I was like, "Nah, never mind, it's silly." And then another guy was in line, and then another younger girl with glasses that made her eyes real big, and she looks really young, and she's cute, whatever, but at the same time she had tattoos up and down her arm. She's super stick skinny, and I love her, you know, as a person, whoever she is. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, you know, I've discovered some weird powers, and I could teach people how to make money work for them and how to make money appear. And I was like, even people that are overhearing that don't want to like acknowledge that they're paying attention, I'm not saying that in a bad way, because it's cool that they're listening because it piques their interest. And I was like, and I could teach them how to make a whole bunch of money if they wanted to make money appear. And then the girl was, and I was like, "You know what I mean?" And she's like, "I think you need to go, sir." And I'm like, "Oh, I just got my money order. There's nobody in line behind me." And she's like, "But I feel the bad vibes that you're giving my customer." And I was like, wow. I was like, you know what's weird is I felt something weird about you when I walked in, but I figured you were listening and I could talk to you. And if you would talk to me, you would really have something to understand and learn. And she was like, "I think everybody needs to learn that on their own." I'm like, well, everybody does need to learn on their own, but you can't have a teacher and somebody to guide you. And she's like, "I think you don't understand what's going on." I'm like, oh boy. And I was like, here's the problem is that you'll take this personal, but you have a very bad vibe and you don't understand what's going on at all. And you could use my help a lot more than you think. And she's like, "I don't need your help." And I was like, well, you need somebody's help. And she's like, "I know I need help, and so do you." And I was like, no, I actually don't. And I was like, you know, I don't want to get you mad, so I'll just go. And she's like, "Thank you, sir. Bye." And I'm like, "I love you." And she's like, "I love you too." And I was like, or no, I said, "I love you." And she's like, because I said, "Have a good day." And she said, "Have a good day too." And I was like, "I love you." And when I asked the customer or the person at the counter if I was bothering her, she said no. And she like backed up and shook her head like, no, like not at all. But she didn't want to say that because that girl was her boss. And the girl was like 14, it looked like. And then what's funny is well, after I said am I bothering you? I thought about it and I looked at the manager and I was like, "So you're the manager?" And I was like, "And you're getting mad at a customer for telling somebody that they can help them?" And then I thought about it, and normally I would have got angry and been like, "What the hell was her problem?" Blah blah blah, and I would have got a little offended. But I asked like, why did she get so upset? And as soon as I walked out the door and I was like, "I love you," and I was like, yeah, they basically said your vibration stayed perfectly the way it should have. That was a very good test. They tested me with that girl, and it was a very good test because instead of being like, "Well, screw her, whatever," instead of thinking that way, I thought like, well, why would that bother her? And they said basically, she's a manager, and you just mentioned money, and you said I can teach you how to make money appear, and I can tell you how to magically make money. I have all the money in the world that I want, but nobody wants to hang out with me, and nobody wants whatever. And because I said that nobody wants to hang out with me, and I don't know why, it's like, and I said I could take you out on a date and talk to you, and I wouldn't even try to hit on you or nothing. I would just whatever. And because I say stuff like I wouldn't hit on you and whatever, I guess that would cause a negative vibe to people who think negative, because everything in the TV and in entertainment is like, you know, everyone sexual and da-da-da-da. So it wasn't anything like, so that could have been one of the reasons it turned negative, and she already had a negative vibe, so she would have just fed off that idea in her own head, not from me, because I was very open and loving, and I felt my light vibration beaming, and it's beaming even brighter now, and I'm tweaking and pinging in my head even more now because I did the right exact thing in that situation, and my higher self and all my higher friends are congratulating me on my first test on level 2. I know it sounds really silly, but I graduated, and I didn't graduate, I accomplished my first test on level 2, like my first turn on level 2 just happened, and instead of getting mad like I normally would have, I immediately was like, "What happened anyway? Why'd she get so mad?" And they were like, "Well, and they said, because she's the manager and you just told her employee that you know how to make money appear. So she thinks basically you're trying to take her employee. Along with the fact that you said you wouldn't hit on them, which automatically turns into hitting on people." I'm like, "But I said I wouldn't hit on them." And they're like, "Well, think about how people think about stuff these days." And what's weird is that astral beings know exactly how things are in that point in time. They're like, how things are these days with the technology. And then when they talk about the future, like how things are now with the animals, and how things are now with the floating discs, and how things are now with the whatever. And sometimes when they say stuff in different time, it depends on where that astral being was in their last time space continuum experience. And they'll say blah blah blah, like how things were in the 2020s. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not there yet. And it's like one of those things where it's hard to understand some of the lingo because they're saying lingo from the future. It's fucking awesome. Anyway, I mean, I wouldn't have this stuff to say off the top of my head if I wasn't getting it channeled or just getting it downloaded directly into my freaking skull, man. 100% all the time, binging, ping, ping, ping. Delivering bread, talking to people, driving my truck, trying to write songs, doing that kind of stuff, and ping, 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 ping. I'm just talking to my higher self and all my higher beings all the time. I could think of them as ghosts, and I could be scared of them, but that's what some people do, and that's how some people interpret them. But I have such a positive vibe that no negative energy can come around me. I almost want to challenge myself to dispel negative energies, but if there are negative energies that need healed, like I want to heal them on the astral so that they can heal easier in the physical. And I want to start learning how to be an astral doctor. I know that sounds weird, but I know I can do that, and I know that makes a lot of sense, especially with the upcoming world changing the way it is. They're going to need astral doctors, and I think that's one of my things, I guess, because I've done the shaman stuff, I've done the witch doctor stuff, I've done the voodoo, I've done the spiritual, I've done religious, I've done Tibet, I've done Buddhist, I've done the singing bowls and all the ohms and the mantras, and I've been doing this for years now, and years may not seem like much because some people are like, oh, I've been doing it for 50. Well, you've been doing the same mantra over and over thinking that was the way you did it because you did it once and it was awesome, and some other times it was awesome, and maybe not every time it was awesome because you weren't trying different new things. Maybe you were, I don't know, but you didn't do the right thing that I did. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, I love you. Peace.